property tax law, section 1182. Mike, you're on, so I didn't know if you want to speak to that or if you had anything else you wanted to bring to our attention.
Just any questions that anybody has about it. I felt that this was something that this is the right thing to do as far as I'm concerned. With our office being closed, many of the local tax collectors' offices being closed, I felt that this was the right thing to do for our taxpayers. And the 30-day period, I think this is something that I want to just monitor and see what we've got going on. And if we need to, I'll come back and maybe extend it a little longer. But I figured I'd start with 30 days just to give people the idea that, okay, they can still get in here and pay and get it done without that 5% penalty. I estimate right now that if we go for the 30 days under normal circumstances, the county's going to be out maybe about 20 grand. So that's the impact.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a good idea. Someone like to make that motion to approve that request?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Supervisor Strauss, seconded by?
I'll second it.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Conover? All right, any more discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I think Garrity wants to say
Aye.
something.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see him here. So, Mr. Garrity, wherever you are.
No, she keeps muting me for a reason. But
We all
anyway,
do. We all do.
hey, listen, hey, Mike,
Yes.
where will the 30-day period end? I'm just
It
curious.
will end, what I want to do is start that 30-day period from the time we're allowed to open.
When you open back up, that's good. I'm
And
good.
that's 30 days
All
from
right,
there.
thanks. Gotcha. Thanks, Mike. I thought that's what you said.
Yep.
So we're all set. The motion was passed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go on to number 3, request items to be discussed by the county administrator. Mr. Moore.
We have our typical journal transfers. Anybody have questions on those? The items B and C on my agenda are sheriff's items. Sheriff, the first one is a request for transfer of funds of $90,000 for the purchase of marked frontline police vehicles. If you would give some background on that, please. Sheriff? Is the sheriff
I don't
on?
see him on.
It still shows his name being present, but he's not responding, nor is he muted.
Let's try the old-fashioned way.
Okay,
Put out an APB for him. All points below.
I'm back.
You back, Sheriff?
Hello?
Yes, I'm back. I'm on the mic right now. Hello, I'm back.
Okay,
Hello?
the item can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear everybody.
Okay, the item that we're on the agenda is the $90,000 transfer for frontline patrol cars.
Yes. That is something where we put together a proposed budget last year, going through the budget process, knew that we were going to be short with reserves. The budget that we proposed has been really taken a beating because every time we look at a certain vehicle, the manufacturers decide they're going to stop production, so we have to switch gears and look at something else. We're at a point right now where I understand the timeliness of this is not the optimum, but we have to make these purchases. Otherwise, we will be without these vehicles until September of 2021. So through some prior amendments, we are down to the point where we're only short about $90,000 for all the vehicles we're looking for 2020. And with this movement, I am confident that if we move through salaries, it will not create a shortfall and we will not exceed our budgeted amounts for 2020.
Hey, it's Dennis Dickinson. How many vehicles are we talking about?
We have 7 Ford Explorer police package vehicles, 2 unmarked Grand Cherokees, and one Chevrolet Tahoe for a canine vehicle. So 10 vehicles total.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? All right,
Anna?
yes,
Sorry.
go
Thanks.
ahead.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Sheriff, didn't we pass a large amount of money from the vehicle reserve last board meeting?
You
How does
did.
that?
You did. The amount that was originally, and again, I'm going to apologize because I'm rather new to this. The amount that was placed in reserves or has been placed in reserves historically is significantly low for the sheriff's office. When we look at it, we're not looking at vehicles that we would like to have or replacing vehicles prematurely. These are vehicles that we absolutely need. And when we start this year, we started to make purchases for investigators and non-frontline police vehicles, and we're scaling back to try to be fiscally responsible. So it was just a matter of the reserve amounts still being lower than they need to be. And I think when we go through the budget process this year, that it would be worth taking a look at those reserves for 2021 to make sure that they're more in line with where we need to be each year. We had a good conference call with Enterprise and took a look at other options as far as leasing vehicles or ways to save the county money. And we were not able to find any other alternative.
All right, thank you. Ms. Bramer, you have another comment?
Just to follow up, I'm concerned about, I mean, I get what you're saying about not having enough money. I guess I'm concerned about you taking it out of the salary line, but I have no idea where else you can take it from. I just know that the administrator sent out a message a day or two ago about austerity measures, and things that we want are no longer something that we can afford to purchase. But I hear what you're saying, that these are not just wants, you must have.
Yes, we're going to look at our budget, and there are areas that the undersheriff and I have already started talking about, places we can give back. This is an area where we're watching our staff currently, and we see that we will have a surplus as we move through this year. So it was the safest spot that we thought that we could move the funds. And again, if you come to the sheriff's office during the day, it's eerily quiet, and it doesn't matter what time of year, and it's quiet because the offices for the police officers are their cars, and it doesn't matter if it's a snow or ice storm. They're out. They need reliable cars to get to people in need. And, I hope that you trust in me that we're just not going to be trying to establish a surplus of fleet vehicles. We just are trying to keep up with what we need. Since January, we've lost a couple to motor vehicle accidents. We had one hit a deer last week, and those things are going to happen. So we're just trying to responsibly manage a healthy fleet.
Thank you, Sheriff. I saw Supervisor Garrity. Hand.
Just real quick too. Also, they've changed the models again. Every time they change the models, you end up having to upgrade your vehicles to a different model. So that costs us more money. And I applaud Jim for doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Any other discussions? Any other questions? All right, would someone like to make the motion to approve that request? Supervisor Garrity, seconded by, I can't really,
I'll move that.
Supervisor Conover. Okay, any more discussions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. I'm sorry, I heard Ryan mention C. Ryan, maybe you could read that, because on my agenda, I don't have anything down for C, so maybe you could read that for us, please.
I could. C is also on behalf of the sheriff's office. It's a request for a new contract with Seaward Equipment for preventive maintenance services with multi-point inspection of duplex pump station and Muffin Monster. A Muffin Monster, for those of you without sewer districts, is a grinder equipment that grinds things up that will otherwise get stuck in your pipes.
What money were we looking at for that? What amount?
It's approximately $5,000 a year with a 3-year agreement not to exceed $15,000. We've been keeping an eye on it, and the payment came in, and we realized we needed to have a contract to pay for it. This isn't an item where we're going to need to ask for extra money. We'll have it budgeted. We just need to get the contract in place so we can make payment and set up this plan. And, as I said, keeping an eye on it, there are a lot more wipes and tissues that are passing through that. And this Muffin Monster is not just for the sheriff's office, but it it affects the entire county campus.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. All right, would someone like to make the motion to approve that, please? I can see a hand. Is that Mr. Beatty? I'm not sure. The second is Mr. Conover. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Carried.
Thank you.
Edna,
You're welcome. Yes.
Edna,
Yes.
it's Dennis Dickinson. I take it you can hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Great.
Question.
Thank you.
Mhm. Did you have any comments to make, Dennis?
No, I just wanted to make sure you could hear me. I've been on all the time, but the parent
Yep.
apparently
I
keeps
can hear
muting
you.
me.
All right.
Great.
All right, we
You'll be
have.
sorry.
Okay, action is required on the following items approved by the Personnel and Administration Committee. Agenda items 2 and 3A and B. Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll make
I'll
it.
make that motion.
All right, Supervisor Dickinson, second by Supervisor Conover. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Edna,
Yes.
Dennis is not on your committee.
Oh, he's
What-
not
what
on my
committee are we
committee.
in?
You're right. Well, I
Well,
guess
that's
he was.
not the
What
first
committee are
time.
we in? No,
Oh,
it's an
well.
old trick.
Edna, sorry. I'm a no on 3B again, please.
Okay, you're no on
Sorry.
3C? Okay, yeah, it's a little hard to
B.
figure out whose hand is
3B.
where. I apologize.
Thank you.
Mhm. All
Just to
right,
clarify, you have Ms. Bramer as opposed on item 3B, correct?
is that correct, Ms. Bramer? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you need to go back and get a motion on 3C.
Well,
I'll make it.
well, wait a
Okay.
minute. I oppose 3B too.
All right, Mr. Stroud poses 3B. All right, now we need to go on to,
Can we have a roll call vote on each of those resolutions?
all right, so you want to go back to 3B? The thing is, I can't, go ahead.
On the personnel items, just say again what they were that we were supposed to vote on.
Items 2 and 3A and B from back here from Health Services Committee. Couple things for the sheriff. We discussed at length before in the other meeting. All right, Amanda, if we're going to do this as a roll call for 3B, I can't even tell really who all is here. Could I ask you to do that? Are you aware of everybody that's here? I can only see like 1, 2, 3, 4 people that are 5 people that are here at the meeting.
Deb, I just let him know if you're shopping today.
Okay, so we're going back to vote on item 3B, which is a
Right.
request for a transfer of funds in the amount of $90,000 for the purchase of marked frontline police vehicles.
Yes,
So Mrs. Frazier,
I'll vote yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Garrity,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Ms. Bramer,
The 90,000 for vehicles, yes, yes on that. I'm sorry, I'm confused.
okay, Mr. McDevitt? Mr. McDevitt?
I think he's on.
I think Mr. McDevitt's calling in by phone, but he may be muted. He's the 7610248 number. Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Merlino?
What?
Mr. Merlino, how do you vote on item 3B on the
Yes.
transfer? Yes, thank you. Mr. Simpson
Yes.
and Mr. Stroud?
Yes.
Okay, so item 3B passed unanimously.
All right, now they also want a roll call. Claudia, you also want a roll call on 3C? No?
No, sorry, Chairwoman, I was wanting to register my no vote on Finance Committee. We also had to approve personnel's item 3A and B, which had to do with, hold on, I forget what A was. That was amending the salary schedule for the sheriff's office, and then the second one was for the director of public affairs. That was the only one I wanted to vote no on, was 3B on the personnel item that we were approving through finance. Thank you.
So So you want to vote, you're opposed to the motion on item 4?
Right, that's what I want to make sure. So Ms. Bramer's item, all
Okay. Okay, yes, fine.
right, so are we taking a roll call vote then? Is that what you wish on item 4?
I don't need a roll call. No, thank you.
Item
Okay.
4 is the one we need to go back though and get a motion because your motion was from Mr. Dickinson. So we need to start over on
Okay,
item 4.
okay, so I need a motion for item 4. Supervisor Garrity
move it.
making motion, a second to the motion, Supervisor Conover. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm opposed. Yeah, thanks.
Mr. Strow is opposed?
I'm just opposed to the 3B though, part of that.
Me too.
I support 2, I support 3A, I do not support 3B.
All right,
That's
well,
my position as well. Thank you.
but when she took a roll call vote on that, neither one of you voted no on that?
Well, are we
Well, that-
talking, well, there's 2 3Bs.
Well, you're talking about, no, aren't you talking about 3B from back on personnel and administrative? That's what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yes, but
Yeah.
when Amanda asked for the roll call, she said, the words she said were the 90,000 transfer. So I'm fine with that. I voted yes to that.
And I agree with Claudia.
All right, so we're down on number
Yeah.
4, and what you're voting no on is because you're not happy with item 3B, is that correct?
That's correct.
Personnel.
Okay, but those are the only two that I have opposed to that were Claudia and Mr. Stroud. Okay, if we have that squared away, we'll quickly go on to privilege of the floor. Is there something that someone wants to bring up? All right, if not, then we'll entertain a motion. Did someone say something? All right, Supervisor Garrity, you want to make a motion to adjourn?
You got it.
Okay, a second one to that.
Is there
Supervisor
anybody, any
Conover.
public comments? Were there any public comments in the YouTube thing? Don, Amanda, anybody? Okay.
I don't know. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Okay, Edna.